Morning guys, Mark Fresh, Protect Dog Training. On the road again, this is normal here in the city. We do a lot of driving to get to and from places. Like a lot of times I go do my bite work and stuff and hook up with other decoys. Excuse me here, get rid of this background noise. I have to drive an hour and a half to get down over the bowl is what I call it. This ring of hills that rings the basin on the other side that goes into LA. We're in the high desert, so we're on the other side of that. So right now I'm heading to my Hollywood customer who's doing a lot of traveling this year, going to out of country and traveling. They have a luxury of that, so they now board Draco with me on a pretty regular basis, but it requires that I've got to drive to them and give them that extra service, and they can afford it, so we've worked out a regular schedule of payment and that kind of thing in regards to this, so it works out. That's behind the Getty Museum. There's a lot of Hollywood behind the Getty Museum back there with a lot of mansions and things set in those little finger valleys that are back in there. It's off of Sunset Boulevard. In fact, Kamala Harris lives up that way. I can't tell you exactly where, I'd have to kill you, but when I go by all the time, she's got Secret Service parked outside of her gates and all that good stuff, so I know exactly where they're at. When she's in town and she's going to dignitary type of speaking and things like that, they constantly have the highway patrol as their duty is to be covering all the traffic to get her in and out of those locations and all that. So you'll see all the motorcycle cops show up, and then they start blocking off roads, and all the people that live up there, they know it. It's just part of the lifestyle they've got to deal with because they live near Kamala Harris's house. Here in California, she probably has a couple houses, who knows, but so when she comes to California and LA, that's where she's staying. That's pretty interesting. Like I said, I always see the Secret Service. They probably already figured out who I am because I drove by enough that they've logged it and did a background check on me, I'm sure. Which is all well and good. More power to them. Do your job. Keep her safe. That's what it's all about, right? So, I am headed there right now, and I figured since I'm driving as usual, I'll yak at the screen a little bit. And this morning's little yak session is basically a plea to you guys. I don't do it that often, and I need to start doing it, where I'm asking for your subscriptions and hit the bell and the subscriptions so that I can build my user base and start to build what I've got online. And a lot of these trainers are using social media, and they get into this to the point where they're doing all the hashtags and the keywords, and I just don't live that, guys. I've done it in the past, but it requires an awful lot out of you in regards to having another part of my life that I don't want to have. I don't want to be stuck in front of a computer. I train dogs. I've got clients. I'm busy as all get out. Now, as I go along, hopefully I'll get some people that have these talents and these skills that I can get in and around me. Then I can start letting them go after what they want to do in life, which means if you have any skill and you want to start building out filming and pictures and all that, I would be a perfect person to do that with because I've got all kinds of things going on. You'll be able to do all kinds of things and build your business up towards social media marketing is what I'm talking about. It's becoming a very big thing. In the dog training community, there's all kinds of these people here in the LA basin for sure that are using it real heavy. And they're doing a very good job with it. A lot of sound, a lot of, it's entertainment, and they figured that out, and they poo-poo me because I don't do it, and I look like an idiot, but they're soaking my knowledge in, believe me. A lot of what's going on out there, I see it happening, and I know it's because of my influence on the industry. It makes me feel good, it's no big deal. Like, example of that, I've been doing Home Depot and public and environment for over 30 years. And eating it up. You can see some of my videos we're doing downstays outside of malls, and thousands of people walking around my dogs doing things that most trainers would never even try to do. And now they're all starting to use it, right? So now when I go to Bass Pro, the guys that work down there, I build my relationships and all that, they're sitting there talking to me about how many dog trainers are in there. All kinds of, we got all kinds of dog trainers coming in here. That's because I started it. I germinated it, and I'm not saying I'm on the world's best or anything, but I do a lot of yakking and I do a lot of showing of myself and what I'm doing to the point where you guys start to copy. And that's all well and good. I know one guy online, I've mentioned him several times, that basically used me with my accent points, yakking the screen, and him having a group of people down in the LA basin that he could use, and he used and he would copy me. He would sit there and listen to my accent points, and then he'd put together his videos with sound, with good graphics, with all that stuff, right? And make himself look like a hero. And he lives on Instagram, which is where all these kids are mostly living nowadays. And so then he built himself up following thousands of people. But I look at it and I go, you got it because of me. He wouldn't have had that. Now he's doing his own thing, and he's branched off where he's got enough of the gift of gab. He's put it together. He's got his confidence level up. And now it's not so rough around the edges where he's actually producing a pretty good product. And he's a fair to middling trainer. You know, I've got some respect for him. But I was right away, that's why I dropped off the internet. I found out about this guy doing this to me, and I was really mad and, just pissed off. But you can't stop the world. And as long as I'm sitting there doing my videos and yakking, you know that somebody else is smart enough is going to pick up on what I'm doing, and they're going to put their offerings together, and they're using social media, right? And social media, when you've got thousands of people and that kind of thing, it basically, there's a shitty perception. And I say shitty because that means the public thinks because somebody has thousands of followers, it makes him a good trainer. No. He's good at social media, and he's put the social media aspects together, and he's built his things by doing things like asking for, hit that bell, subscribe, please, I need your, and comments, come in, comments, so I can get my algorithm. I've been working on that word so bad. Algorithm. I've been working real hard at getting my algorithm going, and that's why I'm making this plea to you right now to help me out, guys. I mean, if you appreciate my content, you realize what I'm up to, I'm going to end up getting to a point where I end up getting some film people and getting some of that to happen for me, too, as it grows, right? There's got to be a kid up here in the high desert that wants to build up a social media marketing and what do they call that? An influencer, right? That's what it's all about. I really don't care about influencing as much as I do about educating and teaching. And that's what I thrive on, and I can't stop it. It's just something that comes from a very young age. I've been doing nothing but yakking and teaching my whole life, and I love it. Caesar Milan and me were together many, many years ago, and I take a little bit of credit in Caesar's evolution. And it was nothing that I did. I mean, Caesar is Caesar, and Caesar's done a good job. He has a different angle. He was at the right place at the right time, and it all clicked, and he became the dog whisperer, right? And I don't begrudge him that, but a lot of what he had going, remember, he didn't have any English. He didn't know anybody. He was going to be a normal Mexican. Now he's a Mexican-American, but that whole society coming across the border and stuff coming into our country, it's been happening for hundreds of years. Right? Go back to the Indian days with these gun runners going over and up, back and forth through Mexico, grabbing their stuff here and going back to Mexico and selling it along the way. These caravans of materials and stuff. This lifestyle has been going on for hundreds of years, guys. That's why I kind of crack up at our border situation. You think it's brand new? It's been going on forever, okay? And so for that asshole, let's go ahead and call it for what it is, coming in and trying to paint this picture that our world is falling apart and everything's ruined and it's all because of the Democrats. Fuck you, okay? It's you wanting to be a fascist and wanting to run our country with fascism and have a dictatorship and tell our people what to do when we've had a 3-tier system of checks and balances, and we've had one of the best systems in the world for over close to 250 years. And everybody follows democracy. The UK, everybody. And it's because we planted that seed and we taught the world that free enterprise and commerce and all these things that matter, and caring about your fellow man. You want to be a tyrant? You want to go out there and throw people in jail and have a concentration camps and all the shit that asshole wants to do? You're crazy, right? You want to give up our lifestyle and make it what everybody else is doing, all the communism around the world? And then they sit there and they throw this shit at the wall and call us communists, call us we're ruining the world. And everything they do, they blame us first, because then that makes them, then we can't blame them, right? They're smart. They're smarter than hell. But believe me, if you let that asshole get into office and take over our country, we will never get our democracy. We will never have what we had in the world. And it'll go to hell in a handbasket, just like he's created bankruptcy on 6, 7. You think that's good? That's great track history. That should tell you what's going to happen. He's going to run our country into the ground, and it's going to be gone. Our whole lifestyle, everything that your child and you, as you were raised as a child, remember what your lifestyle was back in the 70s and 80s? I had one of the best childhoods in the world. And that's America. A lot of people have some of the best childhoods in the world, wherever they live at. But it's because of our system of government and that freedom of having a lifestyle that there is none like it in the world, okay? There's other good democracies that are close. The UK is, their government's a little bit different, but it's still the government caring about their people and being very conscientious and aware the fact that they've got to make sure that their people are happy and thriving, and that's what feeds the whole system, because everybody wins. As Biden would say, when we work together, there's nothing we can't do, okay? And he's right, okay? Listen to what that man has to say. He's standing on a platform of values, right? And he calls it character. In other words, a negative character from that asshole on the other side, right? And I won't, I'm not going to sit here and pussyfoot around. I don't care if he almost got shot by his own people, by the way. Look at that. It was a Republican that was totally, and he's got this hate and this whole thing. Who knows why this guy did what he did, but he wasn't a Democrat, and we didn't send him in there. They can get all their conspiracy theories they want, but they're full of shit. We know it was their sickness on their side that had this happen. They're the ones that are the gun nuts and want to have all these weapons that are made to kill, okay? That bullet that comes out of that AR-15 is designed in such a way that it tumbles and it hits the body and it rips everything apart. Why? Because in a war situation, they want to put 3 men on that cot, one in front, one behind, to have to carry that guy out. Now you've got 3 people, one that's been down and injured, one that's carrying the person in the front, one that's carrying the person in the back, and now you've reduced your whole thing, and now that's easier in a war situation. Those weapons are made to maim and to kill. Okay? And they're done on purpose because they're in a war situation. And you want to give it to civilians? That's our problem. We don't have balls and muskets and all that. Oh, the government's going to take over. We have the right to have our weapons. You don't have the right to be a nut. Okay? And that's the problem. The problem really is our mental health situation too. The mental health, everything you've got. You see all these homeless people all over the place, and drug addicts are going crazy. All that stuff is happening. And you want to blame the president that's in office right now. Reality and truth, it's from the actions of that other guy way back 3 or 4 different terms, way back. It was Bush Sr. He decided he wanted to take apart the whole system that we had because of trying to reduce cost, all this stuff they always preach. We got to have none of this. We got to take all this glut away from the government. They're all greedy and they're running. They've got hundreds of people now. Reality, they had a whole system set up. Doctors, mental institutions, guidance and help programs to help these people when they got out of the mental institutions to keep them healthy so that they got the drugs they need to keep themselves balanced and all that. All that was available to them. None of that is available now. Why? Because of Bush. Okay? So you guys stop looking at the president that's in office now and blaming him for everything and realize that this stuff is ever-changing, evolving, and your actions from 3 or 4 terms before will cause problems today, right? So there's something to be said about taking the red tape out, getting all that paperwork out of there, and reducing that. You know what I mean? Because our side, we have a tendency put more people in, do more things, and pretty soon that's costing a lot of money. So I understand. I mean, the old Republicans, not the MAGA shit that's going on now, not these fascist assholes now. So we'll get through it, guys. And after this election, watch us thrive. Because if Biden wins, which I think he's going to, my personal opinion, because there's so many people that can see through this crap now, right? Before we weren't aware of what was going to happen. This guy was hiding it, right? Now they're not hiding it anymore. 2025, go read that document. Find out what they want to do to our country. And they will take it right down the toilet and ruin it. What are you going to say then? Because you're on their side and you're getting fed from the greed pile that's on the other side, all the greed and the greedy people. It's all about corporate greed. The corporations want that asshole up there because they're part of that corporate greed, right? They make money off of this asshole, right? But he's only feeding the people at the top. All of us in the middle and at the bottom are starving, right? And we're hurting. You take away our rights. So Biden's totally correct. From the bottom and the middle out, right? He's totally correct. Watch it. It's already working. Our economy's bouncing back. We're starting to thrive, right? Instead of all the tax breaks for the guys and the rich and allowing the corporations to sit there and go offshore and have no taxes. That was bullshit. My pharmacy company that I used to work did that crap. Went over to Australia and created an offshore type of shit where they didn't have to pay any taxes. Bullshit. Pharmacies make more, and pharmaceutical makes more money than God. And they pass it on to the consumer, all the old folks trying to survive and need those drugs, and they're charging them up the yang for it. They can't even survive. But they're sure they're greedy little asses getting all kinds of money. Look at the way our system is set up. The greedy are winning, and the people at the bottom that are doing all the hard work and being used are the ones that are suffering, right? So, all right, I'm done. I got off tangent here. Click the bell. Hit the thing, please, and comment, please. I always comment back. I'm always right there. Go ahead and make some comments. Put in your 2 cents. Be a part of my channel so that it grows, and I'll give more, and then I'll be able to do more, right? I'll be able to get those camera people and start putting in a product of sound and bells and whistles that makes everybody all happy, because we grew up watching TV, and now we want the same thing on our YouTube videos. It is what it is. I'm a dog trainer first. I'm an educator first. That's what I thrive on. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day.